And welcoming you to the terrace here at Research Stadium for Oregon State's second home game of the season. Oregon State versus Boise State set to kick off in just under 3 hours. Today we have the Orange Media Network pregame show. Myself, Brendan Slaughter, color voice at KBVR, Cassidy Wood, Oregon State football reporter, and Keenan Punkocher, also football reporter for Oregon State. We're getting ready for this pregame show today. We have a lot of great things to get to, including bowl predictions, keys to the game, and a score prediction. We're going to start with keys to the game for the offense. For that, we turn to Cassidy. Cassidy, what do we got today?
All right, so today against Boise State, I think Darryl Garrettson just needs to trust his receivers more, get that pass off out of the pocket quicker. And once they do that, I think it could really benefit them. Also, on the punt returns, the Beavers, their blockers need to step up, get that defense so our punt returners can run it back for some solid yardage points. And thirdly, I think our offensive line needs to step up, protect Garrettson more. He was running for his life a little bit last game, so I think if our offensive line tackles some people, he'll get away, get the pass off, and the Beavers will have a good game.
And there you have it, the keys to the offense. Now we'll shift over to the defensive side of the ball, and for that we turn to Keenan Punkocher. Keenan?
So first of all, I think, coming right off of practice, Clune himself said we got to tackle in open space better. That's something we've got to, get a little bit more proficient on. We just always have to tackle better in open space. Second, I think if we could force 3 turnovers on the defensive side this week, that's going to help us carry the momentum from last week against Idaho State. And then thirdly, I think we got to be able to give up less yards per pass. That was a big problem last week we saw. So if we're able to just kind of chip that down, tackle in open space, I think we can get that win.
And just like that, you have the 3 keys to the Oregon State victory. Now we're going to switch over to bowl predictions that may or may not come true, but you're definitely going to remember them. Cassie, what do we got from you?
All right, last week we had Jordan Villeman receiving only 27 yards. I say this week he'll put up over 100.
Jordan Villeman, big playmaker. Keenan, what do you got?
I'm going to go Ryan Nall this week. I think last week he was shut down. I don't think you're going to see that again. I'm going to go at least 150 yards, 2 touchdowns.
All right, and for me, I have Darryl Garrettson throwing for over 300 yards to at least 5 different receivers. And now we're going to go to score predictions. Cassie, first we'll turn to you. Who gets the victory today, and what's it looking like?
I think the Beavers are going to have a pretty good chance, but I think in the end it might be 33-27 Boise.
All right, Boise for 1. Keenan, how about yourself?
I'm kind of with Cassie on this. It's going to be a close game. Might even come down to the final possession. So I'm going to go 24-21 Boise.
Guess I'm the odd man out here as I have Oregon State taking this one 28-24. And now we'll kick it over to Brian Rathbone and Josh Warden for the rest of the OMN pregame show on the field.
All right, welcome to the Research Stadium field now for the second half of our Orange Media Network football preview. I'm Josh Warden, play-by-play voice for KBVR FM. To my right is Brian Rathbone with Orange Media Network. We're going to do a little back and forth right now between us ahead of the Oregon State-Boise State matchup. Brian, question for you today. Another tight end who's made a season, Ricky Ortiz, at least tight ends back. Any receiving will that position group have today, if any?
I say that they have at least 3 catches for, we'll go 17 yards. We'll put the over at 17 yards. Nice little flare outs into the flats for the tight ends. I think that's how we'll see them utilized today, because they don't have the same athleticism that Togiai has to go down the middle and all that. All right, Josh, my first question for you is this. Last time Oregon State played Boise State, they had 2 defensive touchdowns. Last week, Treston Deku took an interception back to the house. Does the defense score a touchdown this week?
It's a good question. Deku, the Pac-12 player of the week, defensive player of the week. I'm going to say no defensive touchdowns because of Boise State's offensive efficiency, a great quarterback in Brett Rippon. Jeremy McNichols, a great running back. So I'm going to say no defensive touchdowns for OSU, but I could be surprised. Here's a second question for you, Brian. Like I said, Brett Rippon, great quarterback. The first time in Mountain West Conference history, a freshman has been the first-team all-conference player last year. Who will have a better game at quarterback, Rippon or Darryl Garrettson?
That's a good question. That was even one I was considering asking you, Josh. I'm going to have to go Rippon on this one. I just think that he's a little more established within the offense. I think he's been really good. He's had really good games. Let's look at the bowl game he played against last year. I don't think he threw an incomplete pass the first half. I think he's going to come out and really test the Oregon State secondary. All right, question number 2, Josh. Last game against Idaho State was the highest attended game in the Gary Anderson era at Research Stadium. Do we see over 40,000 here at Research Stadium today?
You know, it's funny. My third and final question was, how many fans are we going to get in Research Stadium today? So I'll allow you to answer that same question. I'm going to say 39,000, but we'll see. I wouldn't be surprised if it crosses that barrier. What do you think?
You know, I think that they will. I think Boise State's a team that travels well. I've already seen a lot of blue and orange out there, you know, around the stadium, so I think they will. Plus, school's back in session, first game where schools, I think that will tip the scales up to over 40,000. All right, Josh, my final question for you. Does Ryan Nall run for over 100 yards?
Ooh, it's a good question. Hopefully he's a little bit healthier. I think he could get close, 85, 90. I really wouldn't be surprised. I'm again going to tone it down a little bit, say, if I had to say, no, not 100 yards, but I would not be surprised if he did. I think the offense will get more than 100 rushing yards. I don't think Nall himself will get to the century mark, however. So, Brian says 40,000, I say 39. Let's get to score predictions before we close. Brian, what do you think the final score is going to be for this one?
I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be a good game all the way through, but I just see Boise State being a little bit better and pulling away at the end. I'm going 31-17.
31-17. Well, the line for this one, Boise State favored by 13. I don't think Oregon State will win. I don't think they'll cover the spread either. I'm going to say 42-28 in favor of the Broncos. So for Brian Rathbone, I'm Josh Warden, as well as Cassidy Wood, Keenan Puncoacher, and Brendan Slaughter. Thanks for watching the Orange Media Network football preview. You can tune in to the game on 88.7 FM KBVR Corvallis to hear the play-by-play of Oregon State and Boise State at 12:30 in Research Stadium.